Coming up on Tech News Today, an indestructible botnet, and we're almost mean it, like 99%. This thing's pretty tough. Also, RIM in a public spat with one of its employees, and Google Plus is so popular. Is it too popular? All that and more coming up next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Thursday, June 30th, 2011. Tech News Today is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly. All streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/twit. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
I'm Jason Howell.
And joining us, Mr. Patrick Beja from France. Welcome, Patrick. Thanks for staying up late for us.
Hey guys, no problem. And I'm putting on my cowboy hat because I'm back from the U.S.
Oh,
yeah.
Woohoo!
Hey,
Partner.
did you get that
It's a
in
nice-looking
Las
hat.
Vegas?
I didn't. I got it right after I shot several guns at a shooting range, for real, because I was in America.
That's a very American thing to do.
Shoot some guns?
Depending on the American
hear a
you
hint
talk
of
to,
a
I guess.
Hint of American action.
Wow. I feel like
I-
putting on a beret and eating a
baguette.
baguette and some
just
cheese.
To, just to return the
fromage in
favor.
here.
Maybe
Yeah.
strolling
All right,
down the
I'm going to
shops.
take that off then. I have to say, though, the shooting guns thing, our friend Brian took us there. It was absolutely terrifying. So, yeah, I'm
Well, you're
much
supposed
less
to
of a
point at
man
the
than I
targets.
thought I was.
I don't know if they explained that to you before you went in, so that could be one of the problems.
Explained what?
You're supposed to shoot at the targets.
Right.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes a big difference.
Joke missed.
Top story on our Reddit at technewstoday.reddit.com. Sarah Lane's new
What?
new hit sitcom.
Wait.
Foursquare, San Francisco. They're like, is this what is this? This is a picture of you
Okay.
and MG Siegler, and it says Foursquare, San Francisco. It looks like it's up on a wall somewhere, like you're advertising.
That's actually my desk at home. Those were 4 different pictures. Foursquare is a New York startup. Anybody who's not familiar with Foursquare, it's like a check-in service. And they just opened their San Francisco office, so they had a little party. So me and a bunch of other people went.
Okay.
And the new thing to do at startup tech parties is get a photo booth because everyone goes crazy and hangs out and takes stupid pictures. So those were 4 pictures when put together.
Gotcha.
Look like the beginnings of a beautiful sitcom, don't it? Like there's
Right.
just 2 people living in the world, and then they say,
Social
"Oh, hey,
empire."
you're kind of cool. Wait a second, there's something here."
Oh my gosh.
And happily
I
ever
like
after.
you.
So there you go. That's what we do
okay.
in San Francisco for
So
fun.
you haven't started a line of advertisements for
No,
Foursquare?
no.
Gotcha. All
I
right.
don't think our sitcom would be very good.
Let's get on to the indestructible botnet. Kaspersky detailing something called TDL4. Actually, TDL4 is what the writers of the botnet call it. It's identified as TDSS, and say it is possibly the most indestructible botnet they've seen. It originally appeared in 2008, and this is the 4th generation of it. You've been studying this thing, Iyaz. So what makes this thing possibly indestructible? I mean, they've had good success at shutting down botnets like Conficker recently.
Now, Sarah's staring at my whiteboard. I write notes a lot, and when I get something complex, I have to like diagram what's going on. And if you go over to securelist.com, they have a great analysis of what exactly is going on. But I'll explain something. This thing is the 4th generation of something called TDL. Apparently, the 4th version is so great that whoever made this sold the source code to 3 because 4 is so much better. That's not a joke. This is actually how this works. There's so many algorithm changes in this, and it encrypts over HTTPS. On top of that, this whole botnet that it creates is protected from attacks because if you shut down the control center, it works off of P2P using something called CAD, which is a public exchange.
Now that's one of the keys to shutting down botnets recently has been to attack the command and control servers and shut them down. Then the botnets have nowhere to talk to. And the feds or whoever, the white hats who have shut it down can then control the botnet because they've hacked the server. This gets around that because it's going over P2P.
Yeah, but with this, because it's publicly accessible, there is a chance for false commands. So if somebody wanted to infiltrate this, they still could. But apparently this is a really good system. The way these guys at SecureList were talking about, it's very difficult to even find. I mean, it infects the master boot record, which runs before the OS. Now, MBR malware has been around since 2008. This isn't new, so there's a way to get around this.
Actually, MBR malware has been around for longer than that.
It was an explosion back then, but the point is it can be found out, and the thing is, let's see, what else does this thing do?
It's a rootkit.
It deletes other malicious programs so it doesn't alert the user of any suspicious activity.
Because master boot record is not impossible for anti-malware to find. So what it does, it looks for particular malware that might tip off the anti-malware programs that it exists.
And on top of that, it installs up to 30 other malicious programs of its own. And the reason why they delete the other programs is because it's competitive. Actually, the people behind this actually pay the affiliates somewhere between $20 and $200 for every 1,000 installations. So if you ever wondered why
there's an affiliate program for
exactly,
it, and they don't have to pay taxes anywhere.
They make some serious money doing this. And there's about 28% of infected machines are in the U.S. That's worth about $250,000.
Holy!
And total of 4.5 million machines infected worldwide. So this is pretty tough to beat.
It's a tight piece of code. To be honest, the security researchers that are writing about this are fairly impressed.
Yeah, that word, like I saw it in the headlines, you saw indestructible, and it seemed like, oh, that's just hyperbole for headlines. No, this is actually something very difficult. I think even Configure used something like this, or was it something similar to that? Although this has me wondering if something like the way Intel bought McAfee, if you had some kind of anti-malware that was on the processor level, that you could go beyond this whole master boot record infection thing.
Which Intel has actually worked on.
Right.
They're talking about that sort of thing.
That seems like one of the only quick ways to find out a way around this, and I don't even know how you would even check if you're infected right now.
Well, there are ways to find out if you're infected in the master boot record. You know, listen to Security Now if you want to get into the details on that stuff. But the really nifty thing about this, if you want to call it nifty, is the fact that it can communicate through CAD, which is the peer-to-peer network that eMule uses. And that allows it to avoid one of the most successful defenses against botnets, which is shutting down the command and control servers. It gives them another opportunity to keep control.
And credit goes to Kaspersky for finding this, right? I can't say their name
Kaspersky
right.
detailed TDL4. I'm always hesitant to give credit to anybody until I'm absolutely sure the entire security community is agreeing on this, because there's always somebody out there who's like, wait a minute, I published this 3 months ago, and nobody's talking about it.
Okay, it was brought to light by Kaspersky.
But Kaspersky's talking about it right now.
So is this a case of going to stock on bottled water and canned goods, or is this just that we now have viruses everywhere and it's sort of like real life germs? They're here. You might catch a cold from time to time, but it's not really that big a deal, and computers have become that way too.
I would say this hasn't changed anything for the average user. Follow all your normal security precautions. Don't click on links you don't know. Don't open attachments. Run antivirus software. Run anti-malware. All of the stuff that you need to do to try not to get infected in the first place. What this means is these attempts to stop things like Configure and fight botnets out in the field just got a lot more complicated. It's the next step forward in the arms race, right? So the security researchers are now going to try to figure out, how do we stop a peer-to-peer enabled botnet? All the other botnets are going to try to emulate this, and it's just history repeating itself over and over.
So it's not the one that's going to the big one that's going to turn everyone into zombies and destroy the world.
At this point, it doesn't appear to be that way.
Yeah, you're always hesitant to say for sure, but no.
They've come a long ways with these things.
Well put. Well put. Out today in the United States, actually out tomorrow in the United States. Out today are the reviews. Shipping tomorrow in the United States, the HP Touchpad, $499. The reviews are out, getting mixed reviews from folks. They also announced today that HP Touchpad will come to the UK on July 15th for £399. The good thing, all the reviewers seem to think this is probably the best tablet next to the iPad out there. It's got an intuitive UI. It's got some good features like pairing. You can print from the tablet very easily using the HP printer system. There's lots to love about it, but also getting words like buggy, as with all tablets that aren't iPad, people complaining about a lack of apps.
Plasticky hardware.
Yeah,
those aren't good.
Cheap.
The Guardian had put together a bunch of sort of the big quotes from all of the big guys who review stuff like this. Walt Mossberg says, can't recommend the touchpad over the iPad 2. Gizmodo says, it's closer than anything else to being good, but it's also far. There aren't enough apps. I mean, that's that's what kills the playbook for you. It's like I feel like it's the same story all over again. Like, this is so promising, but still not a killer.
Well, no, I mean, when Apotheker said, the CEO of HP said, we will not put this out until it's perfect.
That's
so
true.
If
He
this
did
is
say
perfect, maybe the reviewers are wrong. That's
Must
flat out
be.
the problem. The reviewers don't understand.
Yeah,
The
they
funny
don't
thing
get
is, they all seem to. We were discussing this, and Tom said that earlier. They all seem to really want to like this tablet, but it's sort of sad. No one manages to love it enough to convey that in their reviews. It's sort of depressing in a way.
It definitely is closer than anything else, according to all these reviews, at being the thing that can take on the iPad, which is bad news for Android because, you know, we've talked previously, a lot of Android developing companies have decided to pull out and scale back on developing Android tablets. So HP this may be good news for HP, which is, hey, your first attempt got really close. If you keep innovating, keep iterating, you may actually have a real contender here.
I mean, the thing is, it's mixed reviews. I think PC Mag gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's the best non-iPad tablet out there. That's what they've been saying. So, I mean, it does have a decent ecosystem. It's really about HP and developing an ecosystem, right? They need to have partners like everybody else does. So hopefully, if they partner up with LG or Samsung or somebody else to make alternate hardware, people will develop for this platform. But until then, it's going to be, you're always going to run into that problem of, this hardware is nice and everything, but what about the apps? I need to be able to use this for something.
Especially when, again, HP had said, this is going to be awesome. We're not going to put out something subpar. We won't follow in other people's mistakes. But it seems like there's a lot of room for improvement. So are they telling us this is the best it's going to get? That's disconcerting.
I'm just thinking about like the Zoom or other things that were pushed out way earlier, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have features enabled. At least this thing has a lot of the things ready to go. So it doesn't have a micro SD card slot that doesn't work yet, or doesn't have a modem that needs to be...
There's nothing glaring. There's nothing deadly like that. Or, you know, it doesn't get email, for instance. Nothing deadly like that.
I don't know why you want email so badly on a tablet.
On a BlackBerry tablet.
Yeah.
BlackBerry Playbook.
Kind of weird.
On to Google, turning off invites to Google+. They turned them on for a while. I sent out a couple.
I sent out like 200.
Did you really?
Yeah, I think I'm part of the
you
problem.
broke it. I only sent out one.
You're the reason.
Well, I'm not the only person, but I wanted to give it to people. I know that people were excited about it, and so yeah, I put a call out on Facebook. Send me your email address because I had to write them all in manually. It was kind of a hassle, and I got to like 200, and then people started to say, "We're just in some weird queue. We're not actually in."
That's because Vic Gundotra said, "What is Sarah Lane doing?" and shut off invites.
I was just trying to make it fun.
Due to the rush of new users, he said, "Quote: We need to do this carefully and in a controlled way." Sarah. Well, Sarah's in there, but Google Plus invites currently on sale on eBay for prices ranging from 99 cents to $27. I'm not kidding. Like, there's listings up there. Some of them promise instant delivery on Buy My Computer all day. Workaround for invites is being published out there by lots of different sites. Apparently creating a status update, it's called a share in Google+, and then inviting people, because you can add people to the share. So it has a share, and then you can add which circles that you want to share it with. You can actually put somebody's email address in there that isn't in any of your circles. It will send them an email that says, hey, you've been mentioned in this share update. Would you like to click here to learn more? If you click on that to learn more, then you get an account to Google Plus.
Because how could you get into the conversation otherwise? That is brilliant.
I tried it with a friend of mine earlier today. Totally worked.
Yep. Wow.
So there is a workaround. That's probably what those eBay people are doing. There are also some other developments around Google Plus. Financial Times calls reshares a privacy flaw. This is pretty mild. I think they're reaching for a story here, but essentially, if you share something with your circle, someone in that circle can reshare it. It's like a retweet with the entire public. And so maybe you had a picture of your kid that you didn't want everybody in the world to see. Some of your friends could publish it out to the rest of the world. That's really no different than anything on the internet.
If I send you an email that has an image in it, and you share that email, I don't know, on your public Facebook page, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's like there's always the ability for someone to take something that started out private and then publicize it.
Well, yeah, you can also, get a letter that you receive that's addressed to you and scan it and, send it on the internet. But in this case, the circles are sort of intended to be your way of limiting with whom you share your updates on this medium, on this social network. And it's really an easy way to then propagate that update to basically everyone else. So they have a point. It's not a gigantic, horrible
you can also mark a share unshareable.
That's after you post it, though. It's not an option until you share it. So you have that, like, I guess,
you have to go
split
back
second.
and lock it? That's sort of weird.
Then again, I mean, it's not open to everybody. If this was like Buzz and it was integrated and everyone was opted in and it's open for everyone, I could see
even then it's
really
not that big
out.
of a deal, but you're right. This is a field trial, and so that's the kind of stuff Google's looking for. Is like, oh, yeah, we should activate that before you post.
And if you have Plus,
Not
go to
put
the
it
bottom right. There's a feedback button, so click it and say what's wrong with it, because I think they'll be fixing stuff before this goes out publicly.
Yeah.
Google Plus code reveals the ability to someday send invites to Google Games. So games may be integrated into Google Plus down the road. At least it looks like that's the plan.
Into Hangouts, actually.
Games in the social network? That sounds crazy.
That would be awesome. I'm trying to visualize what a Hangout game with switching cameras would be like.
Connect?
That would be rad.
One of the reasons
Hangouts
Patrick is so tired is we were hanging out 3 in the morning his time last night.
And what you mean by that is the video.
Yeah, the video
group chat. You weren't actually physically hanging out.
We were on a hangout.
Yes.
But Patrick, that's what we were talking about. After a while, we're like, well, we want to be able to do something here.
Yeah, well, this is really the potential of Hangouts. If people don't know, it's that video chat that's really well done, where you have a row of all the people participating in the bottom, and then the one person that's talking has a larger video on the top of the window. But you can really do a lot with that, and it's just silly video chat, but it's really well done. And if you can share movies or music or games or whiteboards, it could really work very well, and furthermore, it could give you something to do on Google Plus, because we've all been using it for already like 24 hours, and it's getting a little bit boring. No, maybe not boring, but with more stuff to do, it would really give us a reason to go there rather than to stay on Facebook and Twitter or There's a huge potential on that Hangout engine they put out.
Now, Proteus in the chat room is telling us the workaround may have been blocked already. He says it is forwarding him to a Learn More page, keep me updated. It's no longer taking people directly into Google+.
Insane demand. There you go.
Yeah. So Google's smart. They get onto these things. One, maybe they can put that unshare option before you share. They're so smart.
Yeah. You know what you're doing, Google. Let us unshare before we share. Then we share.
Sonny and share.
Lock down those shares. Sell them.
Before we move on from Google Plus, which I think we're on the way of doing, what do you guys think of circles as a concept in the social media space? Because I thought it was really the one thing that not surprised me, but I thought it was the biggest, the best feature in Google+, that fact that you can sort of send updates to specific groups, but they will only get them if they're also following you. And it's a way of, it's not just groups, it's a way of isolating your updates that's never really been done before, from what I gather.
Now, I'm being told in the chat room that it's just a waiting line. There's a long wait for the invite. It doesn't work as immediately as it was. So maybe they have blocked it, maybe not. So that's
it's a
trickle. But what about Patrick's question about circles?
Obviously, no one cares, so let's move on.
No, I care. I think actually it's done really well because, like you said, it has to be a dual friendship, right? So if you put somebody in their circle, they're still going to have to share it with you, and if they decide not to, you're not just going to get all their information in your circle. If I put Patrick into my tech circle, for example, but he's sharing private links with just Tom, I'm not just getting that stuff. That's a smart way to do things. I think that FriendFeed did this pretty well. At one point, I was a really big FriendFeed user, and I would organize people into groups.
Hey, guess who owns FriendFeed?
Facebook?
Well, I know, yeah, and they don't really do anything with them anymore.
Not Facebook.
It's not Facebook?
Facebook owns FriendFeed.
Facebook owns FriendFeed?
Yeah.
Or is it Friendster? Am I mixing?
No, Friendster's separate. Okay,
Friendster's something else entirely. Yeah, Facebook bought FriendFeed, and we all sort of thought that'd be part of the news stream, and some of it is, but it's not. It's it's kind of dead in the water for the most part. But it is friend feed-esque in the way that you can organize people. But I don't think that that's really new. I think that people are used to that. Facebook is a good example. I mean, Facebook groups, Facebook lists. People are getting used to sharing with a small facet of a general big group of friends that you might be good friends with certain people and just faint acquaintances with others. What do you think, Patrick?
I don't know. I mean, with Facebook, you do, your friending, and with Twitter, you're just following. And this seems like a mix of the two that takes the best part of each and lets you really choose what you want to do with your updates. So I thought that was really a strong point of Google+. On the other hand, I can't abide by the threading of comments on the status updates. I don't know about you guys, but it's making everything impossible to follow. So I'm sort of getting a little bit of a panicky reaction when I get on Google+. It's so all over the place, and I don't know, maybe I'm following people who are too popular.
Well, that's why you have to harvest your circles. I'm just making up. That's my verb for circle making. Circles. Yeah,
But it doesn't work, because then you send an update that someone is going to see, and people are going to reshare it, and their followers are going to comment on it. So it immediately becomes this huge herd of everyone talking on one update, and makes me think of Buzz a little bit.
Uh-oh. Already he brought up the buzzword. Hey, buzzword. Time for a break. We're going to come back, talk about some wiretapping for Google, RIM's Peanut Butter Manifesto. But first, thanks to Netflix. Netflix.com allows you to stream television shows, movies, all kinds of stuff to your iPad, to your iPhone, to your Xbox, to your PS3, to your Nintendo Wii, your Android phones, too. I mean, it's all over the place. How can you not use it? You're missing out on all kinds of television shows and movies that you could be watching for one monthly fee. You can watch as much as you want. And if you are already using Netflix and just nodding your head and saying, shut up, Merritt, I know this. I use it all the time. Tell a friend, because they can get Netflix free for 30 days. Netflix.com/twit. They could be watching 8 Men Out, Billy Elliot, Iron Man, all right now. So do a friend a solid. Tell them Netflix.com/twit.
Don't offend a solid.
You'll offend them if you don't tell them
right.
to go to Netflix.com/twit and get 30 days free. And if you haven't tried Netflix, don't offend yourself. Do it now. We thank them for their support of Tech News Today. All right, so Google in the United States has been sued by several different attorneys general and class action lawsuits over the Google Street View cars going around collecting Wi-Fi information. We've talked about how it was very small amount of information, it was very fragmented, and different countries have handled it different ways. Ireland, for instance, I thought was the smartest and said, just delete it all. As long as you delete it all, we're good. However, in the United States, they're being taken to court. Google tried to file a motion with a California federal judge saying, you should dismiss this entire case because it's public radio. It was not, I don't mean NPR, I mean it was a radio broadcast into the public. It was not encrypted, so you can't say we did anything wrong. It was broadcast into the public. We think it was readily accessible to the general public, and you should dismiss this lawsuit prima facie. The judge rejected that on interesting grounds. The plaintiffs argued that because Google used packet sniffing software, they were able to access data that, while not encrypted, is not readily accessible to the public who don't use packet sniffing software. Now, this sort of makes sense, which is, I can't just launch my browser and see all the data that Google was getting. They had to use packet sniffing software. But at the same time, those packets are unencrypted, and they're out there. If suddenly packet sniffing software got really popular, then it would be publicly accessible.
Yeah, this phrase, readily accessible to the general public, is going to be played with by attorneys in the years to come, okay? Because the idea was that AM, FM radio transmissions, that's public because somebody could just have a radio. That's normal. People have radios, right? That they carry them in their pockets. I mean, but if everybody on their smartphones have the ability to do this, if the general public can do this in the future, eventually they'll be free of this. But as it stands right now, according to this judge, this isn't something that people are normally doing. And even though, like on this show, we probably all could do this with our phones or our laptops, we aren't the general public. So it's about the reasonable person and the general public on this.
And again, he's not finding Google guilty here. He's saying, I'm not going to dismiss this lawsuit prima facie just because they didn't encrypt the wireless. We have to go to court and decide if what you did was wrong. It's not as cut and dried. And in that respect, I can agree with the judge's ruling. I can agree with the reasoning saying, well, wait a minute, there could be lots of things that you can hear publicly that you might be doing something illegal to be able to hear them. So, you know, putting a cup up to the wall of somebody's house, that could be considered trespassing. Is this similar to that, or is it something else? They're going to need to go to court to determine that. RIM's employees are getting out of hand. Well, at least one of them is. An open letter has been sent to Boy Genius Report calling for better marketing of products, accountability for failure, and input from employees. The employee asked that RIM stop making product decisions based on carrier or retailer requests, but on what customers would actually want. Recommends that Jim Balsillie and Tom Lazaridis split their roles. They're dual CEOs. He says, come on, that's not working. Let's split these up into chairman and CEO. RIM has responded on its own blog, first of all chiding the anonymous author, saying, why couldn't you just talk to our executives directly? And saying there's a fundamental business reality. However, we just finished an period of hyper-growth. RIM nearly quadrupled in size over the past 5 years, and it's necessary for the company to streamline its operations in order to allow it to grow its business profitably while pursuing newer strategic alternatives.
When I saw the peanut butter manifesto thing, I was hoping it was from the top. Somebody at RIM saying, okay, either one of the co-CEOs or somebody up there.
I'm one of the CEOs. I'm not going to say which one I am.
But somebody's saying it.
Well, the peanut butter manifesto, we should explain to people who don't know, refers to a memo from a Yahoo executive sent in company, not anonymously, but it was leaked out later.
Yeah, in this case, it was an anonymous employee for RIM, and you know, these guys are calling out whoever this employee is calling out stuff that we've been talking about for a really long time. That RIM just seems kind of lost, and the funny thing is, RIM's response is that same kind of like stubborn pig-headedness that we've seen very often from them of, we're doing stuff fine, we're making money, we're okay, our system is...
Our track record speaks for itself.
Yeah, stock record. What about their stock price? Completely in the toilet.
They also point out, hey, why didn't you just come and talk to us? Why did you have to take this publicly, anonymously? Well, there's no evidence to, I mean, they can say that because they don't know who it is. What if this person did talk to them and didn't get the response that he or she wanted and felt that this was their only course of action without losing their job? It's very hard to know behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying in his letter. He's saying we have a culture of chastising people who tell these truths, and you can't speak up in the company. His letter is actually a little bit heart-wrenching. He's saying things that I think we as consumers and tech pundits have been thinking for a while about RIM, and it seems like if he could have said it, he would have. You know, he seems to have a genuine love for the company, and he just wants them to do better. So
I absolutely identified with this open letter. I don't know how many times I have sat in a corporate meeting, and I know many coworkers have sat in a corporate meeting saying, I like this company. I want to like the projects. But whenever we give our opinions and tell you how to make things better, we're told why we're wrong, and we're told why we should like it the way you told us in the first place. Companies are most often not looking for feedback, they're looking for validation. So when they come and say, hey, what do you think? And you're like, well, I would do this different. We're not going to do that. We're going to do it the way we present it. And here's why you should like it. And shut up. And that's what this guy is responding to. He's like, this is what RIM has been doing. You're stuck in your ways. You won't listen to your employees. We have good ideas. We're stuck in a rut. Everybody's dragging. We're missing deadlines. And no one will listen. Everyone's in cover your ass mode. And that's a recipe for disaster. I totally identified with this.
And not only do you identify with it, but it's like you could say, well, you're just saying whatever you want anonymously, and that's a cowardly way to trash your own company. But this person is saying, I have to do this because I will be penalized. If they knew who I was, something bad will happen to me, and I'm afraid about that, so I have to do this way.
Yeah,
otherwise, he'd probably want to get a lot of attention.
The question is this going to do any more good?
I think that it's very easy for RIM to dismiss something like this, saying, you didn't come to us, we don't know who this is, you don't know what's really going on, you're anonymous.
Yeah, and they spend the first paragraph of their blog post going, we don't know if this is real or not. We don't know who this is. You know, they're doing exactly that.
Right.
Kind of casting aspersions.
Yeah, our employees don't seem like the kind of people who would write this sort of thing. It's probably
our employees
a
are all
hoax.
happy. Every time we ask them, are you happy? They answer, well, yes, yes, we're
Yes,
totally happy.
please, thank you for the Thursday snack.
Better be happy. Thank you for the Thursday snack. Yes, exactly. You got a Thursday snack. Shut up and be happy.
Eat your Rice Krispie treat. Get
You know,
back to work.
You want to get a Rice Krispie treat next Thursday? You better be quiet. Let's finish. It's Open Letter Day, apparently. Also an open letter to Jeff Bezos, written by Danny Sullivan over at Search Engine Land. Wait a minute. This one's different. There's lots of open letters. Oh, no, this is by Danny Sullivan. It's just on Daggle.com. But it's on Jeff Bezos and Amazon terminating the Amazon affiliate program in Canada. Now, what's so funny about this? California, Canada, pretty
it's
much
basically the
exactly
same thing.
Bunch of socialists.
Yeah.
Exactly. Either way, they don't have the program.
Hey.
Oh, right. And France, too. Okay. It's about the Amazon cutting the affiliate program. We talked about this yesterday, and we went over the facts of it, which is California, Jerry Brown has signed a bill that will enact a tax on Amazon, a sales tax, based on the fact that they have affiliates in California. Amazon has responded and says when this tax goes into effect on September 30th, we're going to cut our affiliate program. This has happened before in New York, where it's still in litigation, Illinois, Rhode Island, and North Carolina, where the affiliate programs have been canceled. And the Tax Foundation notes that Arizona, Hawaii, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, New Mexico, Tennessee, Texas, and Vermont are all considering passing similar legislation. So Amazon keeps this up, they're going to run out of affiliate programs. But it's funny to me that it finally gets attention on the blogosphere when it happens to California.
Well, yeah, this is like the heart of tech culture. I mean, San Francisco is right around the corner, so everyone will talk about this. There's so many blog posts, people are complaining, and we were talking about this earlier. I was wondering if we're covering this now because everybody else is, because I mean, nobody cared when North Carolina didn't do it.
Well,
I mean,
we covered it.
We covered
not
it.
to this level.
And blogs posted on it, but
it wasn't like on Tech
I
Meme.
think people in North Carolina cared quite a bit.
Yeah, they did. And in New York, when it was in New York, it was covered rather big. But it is getting much more attention. It's getting angry public letters because it's affecting a lot of bloggers, and a lot of bloggers live in California. It's affecting me. On Twitter today, I said, goodbye, Amazon. Going to have to switch our Sword and Laser affiliate links to something else. What was funny is it caused a firestorm of people saying, don't blame Amazon. You know, blame the state of California for passing the tax. I'm like, I'm not blaming anyone.
You're just having to change your methods.
Yeah, whether the state of California, Amazon, or your mom is to blame, I don't care. I'm getting kicked out of the affiliate program.
Leave their moms out of this, Tom.
All right, that's probably a good idea. But I cannot make money off of affiliate links on Sword and Laser's website, so I'm going to use a different program. I'd actually like Amazon. I'd continue to use them if I was allowed to, but they're not allowing me to. So it's a very rational business decision. But people were taking it as if, oh, well, if you switch to another program, you're supporting the state of California. I'm like, no, I'm just doing the only thing I have left to do, the only choice I have.
And you're not the only person who's going to have to make decisions like that. I mean, do you think all the other affiliates are saying, well, there goes that revenue stream. Oh, well, state of California screwed me.
Yeah.
People will probably try to figure out how to get that revenue stream going again.
So politically, you can side with whomever you wish and write your congressman and do all that stuff, but business-wise, Amazon loses your business. That's their decision, and you know what? They probably figure it's worth it to not have to go through the bureaucracy of collecting the tax. They must have done the math and realized that this is what needs to be done.
I mean, Jeff Bezos
and
go ahead.
Sorry. I, as the big, socialist here, I was all ready to hate Amazon and think this is the big, company that wants to screw the state out of the well-deserved tax and all of that. And you guys explained it to me, and strangely enough, I found myself siding with Amazon on this one. There should be one federal-level sales tax that they should pay once, and that's it, and not have to deal with all the little, commune and town and state laws that they have to deal with on the administrative level. So I can't believe that I'm actually thinking this guy who wrote the open letter, I'm not really siding with him at all. Actually, maybe they could have given him a little bit more time before they ended the contract, but. I'm actually rooting for Amazon on this one. I'm surprised.
On the side of corporations.
Go big business.
If you were here, I'd strike on your behalf. Let's move on to the news feed. All-around loud guy and CEO of Microsoft, Steve Ballmer, publicly addressed the several calls that have been made for his dismissal as CEO of Microsoft. And in fact, I can't do it justice. We're just going to have to listen to what he had to say, thanks to GeekWire.com.
Thank you for being here, Steve. Recently, I read somewhere, someone said that it's time for Microsoft to change its CEO. Steve Ballmer needs to go. What's your reaction to that?
You tell me if I lack energy or conviction or we're not driving all the change we need to drive.
And he goes on from there.
Yes.
He talks about how if you slice him open, you'll find Windows, 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 Windows.
That's his thing. He likes to repeat things.
Yeah.
For emphasis.
So many open windows. We all love that. Do you think that that was a staged question? So we got to like get all, I'm Steve Ballmer, I'm going to show you what we're going to do.
He wouldn't even need the question to do that. He's Steve Ballmer. He would do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I don't know. It could have been a good setup.
You tell me if it was a setup.
I don't know. In these tough economic times, it's hard to make a buck, you know, whether you're an Amazon affiliate or you're a spammer. Even spammers are now having problems making a living annoying people online. Apparently, spam filters have gotten so good that the spam game no longer pays the same wages. Because of that, the amount of spam dropped at the end of last year.
That was my exit
I'm
strategy.
starting to feel really bad for those poor spammers.
I know.
How are they going to pay the rent?
How are they going to pay for their botnets?
Get a real job. Light Squared filed its official plan for reducing interference between its proposed wireless data services and GPS navigation systems. This issue will be resolved by good data, smart engineers, and good faith problem-solving dialogue. That's what Sanjay Ahuja?
Sanjeev Ahuja.
I can't say it.
It's kind of like Iyaz Akhtar. It's
Not
hard to
even
pronounce.
close. These have many more vowels. Light Squared said GPS device makers need to adapt their equipment not to bleed into other frequencies. GPS makers were not too pleased by that statement.
Not content with just making a Jeopardy-playing computer, IBM has made a new kind of phase change memory that is 100 times faster than flash memory. It's also supposed to handle 10 million write cycles, which is also better than flash memory's 1,000 of write cycles. IBM says the technology ought to be in storage systems as soon as 2016, so this could revolutionize your storage, folks.
You might be wondering, hey, what's going on in MySpace land now that News Corp is done with it? Turns out that Specific Media, the buyer of MySpace, is partly owned by Justin Timberlake.
What?
So maybe he can make the social network, he can bring sexy back, you know, make it cool again. Yeah!
I'm
Woo!
bringing MySpace back.
Also, MySpace said that it would cut half of its 450-person workforce. And they lived up to that today, so that's 225 people who will be on Google+.
And can't start their careers as
Very
spammers
soon.
either.
No.
Today, some Android users will be able to do video calls via Skype. Thanks to a new version of Skype for Android, video chats will work on both Wi-Fi and 3G. Right now, only the Google Nexus S, the HT Desire S, along with the Sony Ericsson Xperia Neo and Xperia Pro can access video chats. Skype says support for more devices are coming soon.
You know what people hate?
What?
Wait. This time, I'm talking about Facebook. That's right. According to the American Customer Satisfaction Index, Facebook is the 10th most hated brand out there, more hated than AT&T and Dish Network. But don't worry, Comcast is still very hated at number 4, so they're safe.
Wow, Facebook beats Comcast in hate.
And
who would have thunk it?
Bank of America.
And AT&T. Sony's Android update, Sony's Android tablets, rather, the S1 and the S2, are real. And there are images. We've got images to prove it. The S1 got the still picture treatment, while the clamshell-style S2 was captured in video. The S2 was shown to power on and off, as well as be responsive to touch. This wasn't a mock-up. It was real. More tablets. Competition is good.
If you needed a reason to travel on Virgin America beyond its Linux-powered touchscreen entertainment screens, how about a free trial of a Google Chromebook? Starting July 1st, passengers will be given the chance to try out a Chromebook on certain flights, and as a bonus for trying out those notebooks, you get free Wi-Fi. The promotion runs until September 30th.
Wait, I have
it would be
to try
fun
out
if you
the
got the Chromebooks without Wi-Fi. That would be a good idea.
Want to try the Chromebook? Good luck. The promotion runs until September 30th? Is that right? All right. I'm flying to Comic-Con on Virgin. I'm going to try that out.
Am I flying to Comic-Con on Virgin too?
I don't know. Are you?
I don't know.
By the way, the most hated brand was Pepco. Number 2 was Delta, for those of you in the chat room asking. On now to the randomizer.
Randomizer.
Replicants, baby. Actually, rep.leakants.org is a service that will send out Twitter replies for you. It's an enhanced virtual self that automatically tweets stuff just like you would. Remember that tool that was making the rounds a while back that would analyze your Twitter and then come up with something that you might post?
This is my next tweet.
Combination.
Yeah, that was what it was called. This is sort of like that, except it does @replies to people you follow. Rob Bashiza at Boing Boing tried it out. It sort of sounds like Eliza, that psychology program in the 80s. @reply, interesting. Thanks for the info. @reply, that looks interesting. @reply, that's an easy one. The answer is you can't divide by 0.
I mean, the worst thing is if somebody doesn't notice that you're using this bot, right? I mean, if you're this disinteresting, you have a problem then, right?
Maybe that was the point of the bot. It was trying to get you very uninteresting.
Ace Detect is actually powered by this.
People are very busy. We need replicants to tweet now. This is the future. Get used to it.
There's a few people that @reply me, I think might be using this. Just saying.
I kind of get the feeling too sometimes.
On to the calendar.
All right, calendar time. New Apple rules for in-app purchases.
Sorry, I had to let it go.
Kick in today, but not before our calendar sound effect. June 30th. Yeah, so you remember that was all that in-app purchasing.
All right.
People have to comply by June 30th.
I've been checking to see if the Amazon Kindle app has been updated, and no, it has not. It still is in violation. I guess they have until the end of today.
Yeah,
to
I guess
fix it.
midnight
But
Pacific, something like that.
The Kindle app isn't for a subscription.
No, but
you
they're
can
not
also get
allowed to link out to their store. They have to have in-app purchases.
That's right.
If they do that. Yeah.
Even
and they have a link
for-
out to the Kindle store in the Amazon Kindle app.
Even for non-subscription based purchases?
Correct.
Yeah, Apple says you have to play by our rules. You have to give them the option to make it easy on themselves and give us money. T-Mobile to tout truly unlimited mobile data plan in the UK. So new users or people eligible for an upgrade can take up the offer if they take out a 2-year contract of just over 25 British pounds or more. Those who aren't eligible yet can upgrade. For the upgrade can also sign up as long as they're on a contract of equivalent length and cost with some data included. So it's a little convoluted, but technically truly unlimited. It's kind of good for a lot of people. Starting tomorrow, that's July 1st, Facebook credits will be mandatory, the mandatory payment platform. Also tomorrow, Gigabyte's S1080 Windows 7 Slate is shipping for the low price of $650. Very affordable.
Windows Slate.
Yeah, $650.
Hey, who's getting one?
It's basically free. And even says $679 on it. Sprint is updating the Samsung Galaxy Tab with Gingerbread on July 5th. So everyone celebrate July 4th, and then you have a little present on the 5th.
Yeah, we don't care if you're from the United States or not. Celebrate July 4th,
That's
damn it.
right. The Americans can celebrate July 4th. Everyone else can celebrate as the day before the Gingerbread
Eve.
Day. Yeah, Gingerbread Eve. Happy Gingerbread Eve, everyone. The first Twitter town hall with President Obama is going to take place on July 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern. If you want to ask a question, you can use the hashtag AskObama, and maybe he'll answer. Pretty rad. I think I'm going to try it out.
I'm going to use replicants.
Oh, that's interesting.
Good idea. Yeah. I'm a little too busy to interact with our president myself. But
no
a replicant might work out very well. Mark Zuckerberg is saying to expect something awesome to launch next week on Facebook. Now, we don't know exactly what that's going to be, but there's been a lot of talk about an iPad app in the works, Project Spartan, perhaps.
Facebook
Google
minus.
Plus. Oh.
Justin Timberlake is joining the board.
It's basically, hey, everybody, stop looking at Google Plus.
Yeah.
We're going to do something awesome next
Something
week.
awesome next week.
I'm going to
take off my sweatshirt.
I'm going to drink this whole can of root beer really fast. Yeah.
It would be really cool if it was the iPad app and Apple held it for like 3 weeks or something. That would be good.
Just held it.
Next week they announce it, and Apple's like, we're still approving it. We're still examining it.
Yeah, this doesn't look good.
Emails, we get them, tnt@twit.tv. You send them, we read them, and we read a few on the show just to prove it. It's actually required by the FTC. Nick wrote in and said, hey, TNT crew, just wanted to let you know that Microsoft had automatic camera switching in group video chat as part of OCS Link for many years. Microsoft has both Mac and Windows clients for OCS Link, which work very well. We use it in the corporation I work for. What do you know? Microsoft did something first for a change. Thank you, Nick. There are many other. We had some examples yesterday of other clients that have done this sort of live switching before too. So again, it's never about being first. It's about doing it in a way that gets people excited, and people were pretty excited about the way Google Plus was doing it.
A corporate kind of thing. That's the thing. I mean, when Microsoft bought Skype, we're all like, they have Link, but what's Link? No one really knew.
It's
actually,
that
Skype
character from Zelda, right?
Yes.
Same Link, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I assumed.
Skype on the Mac does it too, actually.
That's if you get video to work on Skype on Mac.
Yes, you do have to get video.
That's the big F.
Better not be Skype 5. Or you got issues. Next email from
Promar. He says if we use the email, we have to call him Promar.
our email just went away. Our email disappeared.
I still see it. Want me to read it?
That's weird. Yeah.
It says, hey, TNT crew, I was listening to episode 274 where you mentioned Google Plus.
And it got me thinking as to some of the other Google projects that haven't seen market success. Facebook started limited access to just those Harvard students and then progressed to college students. They didn't get real growth and acceptance until they opened it up to the public. Google's products are always limited to Google accounts. I know, business-wise, that's just a decision. That's a just decision. I know you guys mentioned previously that Gmail users aren't the biggest percentage globally of webmail users, so you can't expect the common consumers to care about a new Google social project. If they aren't Google customers already, those are just my thoughts.
Now, Facebook is limited to people with Facebook accounts in the same way that Google Plus is limited to people with Google accounts.
Well, Google could have tried something different with OpenID or something, right? They didn't bother with that.
Still have to log in.
But Google doesn't. I mean, that's not the point. The point is to
he's
get
saying
into the Google
Facebook
system.
didn't take off until it opened to the public. Well, Google Plus is limited right now. It's in a limited beta, so so that's the analog.
We assume as long as it's not doesn't go the way of Gmail and be in beta for 5 years, that it'll be open pretty soon.
But of course, they're going to limit it to Google accounts the same way that Facebook is limited to Facebook accounts.
And you can get a Google account now anyway, and just wait for this to open up too. So.
Yeah, I think he didn't really think his whole argument through.
There you go, Promar. And the last email from either B-Woogie or Boogie, however you want to say that.
Boogie!
Hey, TNT kids, maybe a tad off topic, but you guys talk about both fairly often. So, you've heard about Xbox achievements and PS3 trophies. What if after you beat a game, it printed out a real trophy?
Oh my gosh, I love
It could have your name engraved on it, including the date and the name of the game, etc. Then you would finally have something to show for all those hours spent improving your hand-eye coordination and put the 3D printer to work. As far as I know, nobody's doing this yet, and I just thought it up, so I thought I'd throw it out there. Love the show.
Yes. I mean, achievements are kind of silly as it is right now, and people still are fighting for them. Can you imagine, Patrick, if you could print out a trophy for your achievement?
I can imagine that Boogie should be going for a patent right now. Just go ahead. You'll make millions. It's genius. I love it.
Just file your email.
All you got to do is unlock a CAD file. You get it, and it prints out. That's actually pretty neat.
Okay, thank you so much to all 933 of our Tech News Today Reddit readers at technewstoday.reddit.com. It's time for science. Patrick Rigby, King Kaz, Larry Ortiz, Stephen 3X, Flash Cider, Josh Dill, J. Joe Hall 22,000, and more. Your name could be up there as well, or just go in and vote things up and down if you like something. It's one of the ways we decide what goes in the show is technewstoday.reddit.com.
That's why we talked about our photos.
Sarah Lane in the Foursquare advert, for instance.
Popular
top
story.
Of the show because it was so popular. Bricks.twit.tv. Don't forget to buy a brick and get it in our studio. We're moving in a couple weeks. You want your brick there when we move in. And Patrick Beja, thank you so much for being on the show again. Let folks know what you're up to these days and where they could find you on the internet.
Thank you for having me. I am on patrickbeja.com where you will find links to all my social networks, Google Plus included. And if you like French language and podcasts, you should go to nowatch.net. You'll find plenty of those.
Je t'aime, French language. Wait, I love you, French language.
No, it's okay. You don't have to add the French language. You can tell me that you love me. Plenty of people do.
It was just my sneaky way of saying it. Twit.tv/TNT is our website. You can email us, TNT@twit.tv, or give us a call, 260-TNT-SHOW. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
Bye-bye.